Welcome back to the KYLECAST. I'm sitting outside my favorite coffee shop right now, feeling rather evil. Just up to some mischief this day. Yo, I just this is like a time skip. Like this is like a pretty major time skip from the intro. Um, I just got done shopping at like a department store. I don't even know why I called it a department store. It was a fucking Walmart. I just got out of Walmart and I'm sitting here getting ready to talk to you a little bit, and I'm about to put in what I think is a 3 milli upper decky. Hang on a second, let me get this open. Oh yeah, mission successful. And I was checking out, and I was like, man, I'm kind of thirsty. I got an insatiable, I don't know what you call it, thirst, going on. So I went ahead and what I went for, and I don't really know why, I went for the Monster Java Mean Bean, like the original coffee, the sweet coffee flavor. I don't know why. These things are kind of ass, but like, I don't know, man. It's kind of desperate, I guess. Yeah, it's not really that good. It's mid. Anyway, I was gonna say I had to come to Walmart tonight. I had to pick up some supplies and stuff. I needed to like refresh up on like some hygiene products and stuff. I'm one of those guys that like whenever I buy like deodorant and like shampoo and conditioner and stuff, I tend to buy like a decent amount at once, like a couple bottles, of this and that and things that I like. And then like not buy any more until I'm starting to get low, and then like stock up. So it's kind of like a ritual for me at this point. Whenever I see the conditioner, the shampoo's getting low, I don't know how many sticks of deodorant I got left. It's like it's time to go for a little restock run. So that's what I did this evening. And I was just thinking, about how it's been a while since I've like shopped anywhere in person and stuff. And it pisses me off because it's like, oh shit, hang on a second. I'm a wreck tonight. I'm having a rough time over here. I'm thinking about this commercialism bullshit, man. I'm having a rough time. But I was thinking about like how I like to shop, and I enjoy shopping and buying things and having like a new shiny thing, And I know what all the serious people are gonna say. They're gonna say you're a victim of capitalism. And while that may be true, man, I like to get out and buy something sometimes, And excuse me. I think my days may be numbered. But, and I hate Walmart. I don't really like Walmart, but like whenever you want to go shopping at like 8 o'clock at night, where else are you going to go? I mean, you don't have a lot of options, And so that's what I did. And I was mostly just stocking up on personal hygiene products. But, I got to looking around. Of course I did. I looked at the Transformers. I looked at the men's clothes and the men's shoes like very thoroughly. It's just kind of having a look around, briefly glanced at like everything else, But I also looked at the Christmas stuff, and that's really what pisses me off is like, man, like all these holidays are just so damn commercialized anymore, and they always have been. I mean, let's just be real. Ever since they put damn Santa Claus on the Coca-Cola bottle, I mean, it was over. Ever since that point onwards, right? But like, I don't know, man. It just like kind of makes me mad and stuff because it's like, as much as I like to buy, things and stuff, I feel like the commercialism of the holidays falls very much into like fast fashion. You know what I mean? Like just the other day, I was actually like looking at buying like a new coat for myself. But it's a very specific kind of coat that they typically don't make, sized for men. It's more of a women's accessory. But I had this idea in my mind. I was like, oh, I want this kind of a jacket, And I had done some, looking around, and I had finally found like maybe 3 like websites that sold this like kind of jacket in like a men's style, but like 2 of them were like obvious like fast fashion websites, and so I ended up going with the third more expensive option. But I think in the end I won't regret going with that better quality option. One time I can remember I ordered some bullshit off of Shein back whenever that was like a big thing. And, they make it like, I don't know, what is it, like a Chinese company or something? They make it like 5 sizes too small because no one over there is like 6 foot, and, that's, it's neither here nor there. But like I remember, like doing stuff like that, and it's like, man, this was just a damn waste of money. I mean, it's more of a hassle to return it than it is to just keep it and have it like rot in the back of my closet to eventually end up in like a landfill one day. But the point that I'm getting across is like consumerism for like the holidays, and like a lot of these trends like fast fashion all kind of like tie in together for me in the way that I think about it in my head. And along those lines, I mean, you want to talk about fast fashion? I go into Walmart every once in a while, and I see these really like kind of like quirky and unique designs on like a t-shirt or like a hat. I have so many different hats, like trucker hats, baseball caps, whatever. Like I have so many like hats, and I don't wear hats like super, super often, like every once in a while I like to wear them, but it's like, I don't wear hats every day, you know what I mean? But I just have this massive collection of hats. And I seen a couple in there, this evening that I kind of liked, and I was like, oh, it'd be kind of cool to have that. But the thing is, they're not high quality hats. They're not a hat that would be comfortable to wear. Typically, you're buying it for that little cute design. Oh, somebody came up with a little quirky design. But are you actually going to wear that hat? I'm actually, as a matter of fact, I'm wearing a hat right now as I'm speaking to you. And it's a completely plain, like a khaki tan hat. Has nothing on it. I don't think it has any like a brand labeling. It has no design, no words, no letters, no nothing. And it's one of my favorite hats to wear because it's just so comfortable and it fits my head the way that I want a hat to. It lacks there's a word for that. It lacks a like a frame. It doesn't have like like any kind of padding in it. Non-structured, I think, is what they call it. It's a non-structured, like not a baseball cap, I guess, but like just a hat. But hats is the thing where it gets me though, where it's like, oh man, these are some really cool. These are like cute, quirky designs. I like to have those, but why? Why? You're never gonna wear that hat. I already have a million hats I'm not gonna wear. I was looking at the Christmas stuff, and it's like, man, well, it just had me thinking about like the holidays and stuff. But we'll get to that here in a little bit. Trust me. But no, and I was just like looking at some stuff and just kind of getting angry because I was thinking about, oh man, there's so many things in here I could buy, and I have all this disposable income all the time, and I could just be buying stuff, stuff that I want. And I honestly walked out of there and I only bought like pretty much what I came here for. I didn't really buy anything of extravagance unless you can count this monster Java contraption, fucking elixir, whatever it is. But yeah, it's just like, I don't know, man, I just get pissed off and stuff. I don't have room for any of this stuff. And I've been this way before. I've been very consumeristic in the past, where I used to just splurge and buy like anything that I thought was kind of funny. I used to buy things because they're funny. And I still do. There's certain things I still will do. I can't help myself. But it's like, I don't know, maybe it's growth as a person or something, but man, it just pisses me off, And a lot of things that they got at Walmart is okay, I guess. I don't really know. But it's like, half of the clothes and stuff is just recycled polyester. And I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, oh, that's a good thing. They're recycling, making new stuff out of it. Yeah, but there's a difference between like Nike or, I don't know, someone like that, or like Reebok or whoever, recycling polyester and making a shirt versus a damn Walmart doing it. I don't trust them, I don't trust them to recycle it right. You're putting a piece of trash on your body if it's coming from this place. But every once in a while, I mean, Walmart does have some good stuff, some good clothes and things like that. Some, obscure, underrated gems, very economy friendly, fashion pieces. And, but it is embarrassing to shop at Walmart, and it's, I know it's classist and this and that. I'm not saying that it should be embarrassing to shop at Walmart, but I remember a time whenever if you were shopping at Walmart, kids make fun of you and stuff like that. And I remember that a lot. And, I still kind of remember that, have that in my head and stuff, that it's kind of embarrassing to shop at Walmart, versus, I don't know, a different, clothing department store or whatever. In reality, it's not. And I know that now, and I've, grown up to understand that. But, it's hard to break those kinds of habits and that kind of thinking, If somebody catches me shopping in Walmart, I have to kind of play it off, play it cool, like, oh, I'm just wasting time, or something. Big ass cart behind me, but I'm just wasting time here, or something. And especially the clothing section though. It's like, man, you catch me shopping for clothes at Walmart, man, you better blow my head smooth off on sight whenever you see me, because there's no coming back from that, in terms of my humility. Other people do it, I don't give a shit, because it validates me, it validates my experiences. But if you see me, just please, 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 just kill me right then and there. That's fine, I give you permission. But back to the whole holidays thing, I've been thinking a lot about these big holidays that we have coming up. I mean, we just got through Halloween weekend. That's pretty cool. I guess next up we have Twerksgiving, followed by Blackout Friday, and then I guess we're gonna have Hangover Hanukkah and Cutwater Christmas in there somewhere. So I'm really looking forward to all of that. Um, but yeah, not to bounce around subjects so quickly and frequently with such a sense of indirection, but I don't know. I just can't get over the yassification of the Somerset Walmart. I mean, it's all fancy and shit now, but I don't know. It's just not supposed to be. I don't know. One of the things that I have been thinking about a lot is, and I was kind of exploring this and talking about it a little bit in the last episode. I have this like weird obsession with historical figures, and my interests, are kind of special and they come and go. I never really lose interest in things. I mean, the things that I've liked in the past, I never quite really lose interest on them at all. But like the thing that I'm really into, recently, or the things, multiple and plural, kind of change and rotate around a lot. There's times whenever it's like, I'm just really into Power Rangers or something, really, Transformers. I'm really into Transformers right now, or Halo, or whatever it is, things like that. But I get that same way about the things that I'm interested in a more academic sense, and definitely about, history and about historical figures, because I relate to men throughout history, um, and I don't know. I guess it's cringy. I guess it's always been cringy. I mean, I've been this way for a very long time. I was like this, whenever I was a little bit younger. I was like this whenever I was in middle school, high school. I've always been this way for as long as I can remember. I always find myself getting attached to a historical figure, and my really like long focus and attachment to them, never really like goes away completely. But like that really specific time where it's like, oh, I just need to learn everything about this person. That typically fades and then gets swapped out for another person. I was, speaking recently about. I've been thinking about the game of chess a lot. And I've been thinking a lot about like Bobby Fischer, and one of the reasons for that, I think, is whenever I was growing up and I was learning to play chess from my father, and I was trying to understand it and get what it was about and stuff. I was kind of always told that Bobby Fischer is the greatest chess player, because he probably was back whenever my dad was growing up and everything, and he's a big deal for an American to beat the USSR for the first time in like 20, 30 years. And but I don't know. I never knew anything about Bobby Fischer recently, or excuse me, until recently. And then I started doing all this research, and I was watching videos and documentaries and compilations, and I was reading a lot of his stuff. And I'm not going to get into it. I brushed over it very lately. Last time he had some interesting opinions on things. He was probably mentally ill or disturbed. He was very alone and isolated and stuff. But it just had me thinking a lot about how, I tend to do this quite often. Right now, it's Bobby Fischer. I'm learning as much as I can about Bobby Fischer, and I'm thinking about purchasing a few of the books that he actually wrote. He had a couple books that were published under his name, but he only actually wrote, some of them. Some of that stuff that he had just done for money, at the time, and he admitted it. I mean, it's not like he took it to the grave or anything like that, but I've been thinking about some of that stuff in relation to my understanding of the game of chess. But one of the historical figures that I've always been interested in, at least a little bit, but man, it really peaked this year whenever I was going through kind of a really big ego phase. I'm still in my ego phase. I'll never get out of my ego phase, but I love learning about like Alexander the Great. Like, he's really like the archetype for I don't know, just so many historical figures and so many conquerors and military leaders and stuff. But man, it's just incredible. His story of his life is like very incredible and very like tragic in a sense. Um, but it's all inspiring. I mean, it really is. And I was learning a lot about Alexander the Great earlier this year, and I probably, uh, we'll continue to learn, some stuff about him and be interested in him and stuff. But it's just interesting how that kind of comes and goes and wavers in different direction from time to time. Um, you know, it was Alexander the Great, and then it was right now it's Bobby Fischer, and who knows what will be next. Um, but I think one of the reasons for that is like a young man, you try to emulate people that you really admire and people that you respect, even if it's people that you don't know personally. I don't think it's probably not a good idea to put your faith in like a celebrity or somebody who's really big that's like living, and but if you pick some good role models for yourself, people that you really want to follow, and I think about that. I was learning a little bit about Douglas MacArthur earlier this year, and I didn't really become super obsessive or attached to him, but I was just learning a little bit about him, and it was like, man, some of these guys, even it doesn't matter necessarily how you view them in history whenever you look back on them. A lot of them were not good guys all the time and stuff, but we're not good guys ever anymore. I mean, none of us are really ever good. We do horrible, awful things constantly to each other, but you have to try to find the positive attributes, the positive traits in people, and try to pursue that, and emulate that yourself and like adjust it to yourself. And I don't know, whenever it comes to fictional characters, I don't quite really get super into like idolizing them or putting them on a pedestal. So often for me it tends to be real people who existed at one point and are likely dead. Some of them aren't, but majority of the fact that they are. One of the only like I'm trying to think, like one of the only like real like fictional characters I really, really get behind and can't get enough of them would be somebody like Indiana Jones, or maybe like Hello Kitty, like either one of those two would be a good pick for me. But I don't know, it's just interesting. I was reading some like what's probably considered very edgy and cringy, excuse me, quotes about like about young man masculinity and identity and stuff like that. And I remember hearing this quote. Who knows where it come from? I could probably research it if I gave a damn. But it was about like like the defining characteristic of men who have been great throughout history is like grit. It doesn't really matter how they were in one way or another if they had grit, to survive and to become leaders and stuff. And I do think about that sometimes in my head. It crosses my mind. And one of my favorite genres of like video to consume recently are men who are just as delusional about themselves as myself. And it's very inspiring to hear, some of the things that they say, because they put into words publicly the things that go through my mind and race through my head constantly. And sometimes you need that. I was really reflecting a lot recently about how, a lot of the positive things in my life right now revolve around delusions and things that aren't really real but feel real to me, that I don't 100% believe or are convinced by, but I have to believe in them. And I think about that a lot. I think about like all of the great, like, I don't know, like all speaking about all the great people like Alexander, Julius Caesar, King David, excuse me, damn, all of these great leaders and warriors and stuff. They all had a period of exile where they couldn't return home. Odysseus. Think of all these different characters, throughout history that have had to be exiled from their homes, and Napoleon. I mean, come on, there's a million examples of this, and they returned triumphant, and even if things ended tragically for them, they returned triumphant. At one point, and that's how I feel like that's kind of the era that I'm at. That's kind of the point that I'm at in my life. I have to return to my life triumphant. And I don't know what that means exactly, I stress out a lot about physical fitness and about being thin and being lean and getting my body fat percentage down, And I think about that a lot. And man, those are some good goals to have, aren't they? Those are good goals to have. But every once in a while, it dawns on me that it's like, I don't know. I mean, there's a million things out there in this life to do. I mean, I'd love to be in physical, peak physical condition and all these different things. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That'd be awesome. But, I enjoy myself. I live a hedonist lifestyle on occasion. And, I'm in my bachelor frat guy era right now, and I'm having a ball of a time. I'm having a great time. That's the thing, is that like I'm having a pretty rough year, but man, I'm having a ball of a time. I'm really enjoying myself. Please forgive me. My memory is somewhat foggy occasionally on the things that I've said and the things that I've expressed in the past. I had the opportunity. I went golfing, a couple weeks ago, like last month, I think it was, and I went golfing for the first time, and never thought that I would ever enjoy something like that. But man, I had such a good time. It was very relaxing, non-competitive play, just uh, scramble style. It was awesome. We had such a good time. Went with a friend. It was awesome, and like golf isn't really that interesting to me, but like playing it was fun. It was very relaxing because at the end of the day, we're shooting balls or whatever, But you're at this beautiful golf course, and we were in the middle of the day in the morning, and it was beautiful weather, and we were by ourselves in nature, very peaceful, incredibly relaxing. I enjoyed it so much, and I've been spending a lot of time with friends. I've been pretty dissatisfied with my family on occasion. So I replaced that dissatisfaction with spending time with people my friends, and people, all the corny people out there would say, oh, but your friends are your family. But I mean, come on now, let's be realistic, I mean, I guess they are. I don't know. I love my friends, though. I love spending time with my friends and having a good time. That's all I ever do is spend time with my friends who I love. And it's amazing and it's incredible. And sometimes I become embarrassed because I realize that, like, not a lot of men express love to their friends in a positive way, or they express love to like pretty much nobody or anything. Man, I love things and I love people, and I'm not afraid to say it, and I'm not ashamed of it, because if I was never told very often that I was loved, and then somebody started doing it to me, I'd feel pretty great about myself, I think. And I think about a lot of people out there that don't get told that they're loved. You know what I mean? It's weird to them, and it's uncomfortable, but it's like, I just love you so much, that kind of a thing. That's who I am. And I was actually speaking to my friend the other night about like childhood and about the whimsy that you lose as you become an adult. It was kind of one of those depressing conversations, but it was bittersweet. We're looking back and reminiscing on the things that we used to do as children. We didn't grow up together. We were just reminiscing, and it just had me thinking about, like, God, I hope that I never lose my whimsy and my love for life and my childlike wonder, because I really am impressed by the damnedest of things, and I have the mind of a child in the most beautiful way. And for as much pain and suffering exists in this world, my God, I hope that never changes. I think about Christmas last year, and how for Christmas last year, the things that my family got me for Christmas were all very wonderful, and I loved them and appreciated them very much. But they were all like stuff that I could have gotten whenever I was 10 years younger, so, or 15 years younger. I was getting damn Legos and Transformers for Christmas, and I loved it. It was awesome. Those are the things that I like, things that I enjoy, I don't know, man. You can't take life too seriously. You got to just kind of enjoy things, do things casual. Been thinking about that a lot. You just got to do things casual. You don't have to kill yourself, become stressed over, like, doing this ridiculous stuff all the time. I think that your physical health and your mental health are linked, unquestionably. And man, it's easy for myself to get down about my physical state. You know what I mean? But I look at myself in the mirror sometimes and I'm like, damn, I'm tall. I'm tall and I'm big, I might not be lean, but man, am I tall and I'm big. And that's okay. I'm a big guy. Weight moves weight. That kind of a thing. It's awesome. It's okay. It's cool. It's okay. Whenever I work out, whenever I lift weights, a lot of times I'm doing it for my own personal pleasure. I have a lot of goals in mind and things that I want to hit and things that I want to reach, and I got to lock in on occasion and really focus and dial in on them. If those are things that I realistically want to achieve, and I know that. I've been doing this for years. I know that. I know how it works. But man, it's just good sometimes to wear a funny costume, to wear a funny little outfit, and pump some iron. And it's okay. And people are going to look at you, and they're going to laugh at you and say all kinds of negative things if they wish. But it doesn't matter, because I'm having a hell of a time. I'm having a ball. I'm pumping the iron. It's okay. We're allowed to do these things. It's okay. Nobody's ever really stopping you from doing, like, pretty much anything in your life aside from, like, the really bad stuff. You got to find a way to enjoy it the most that you can, I feel like. And that's the thing, is like, if I didn't, look at the world around me as if it was some big, huge, and incredible thing to explore, what would I do? I'd sit around all day oh, I'm in the house today, or, whatever. No, I'm never home. I'm always out doing shit, seeing people and doing things, Life is a grand and beautiful adventure, man. It's incredible. It's awesome. But, okay, well, I think I might leave you with that, I apologize. This was a less focused and concentrated experience. I was a little bit more all over the place. Just getting my thoughts out here. I appreciate you taking the time and spending it with me. So, thanks. What's up? It's Kyle. I'm cooking some ramen right now. You can probably hear it. This shit's about to be so ass. Kyle Cooks, coming soon. 2026. See you there.